Hello everyone, and welcome back for another video. Today I am going to scrapbook just a single photo on a single page layout, and I'm going to be using this same collection. And I have to apologize because I've been calling it the Carta Bella Special Delivery Collection, but I believe it's Christmas delivery. Fairly close, so not that big of a deal, but if you are looking for this collection, I do apologize that I've been calling it the wrong thing. I am going to scrapbook this photo of my daughter, and when I was growing up, every year we had Santa Claus come on Christmas Eve, and it was more Santa would bring also gifts overnight, but this was more of like a photo opportunity for the adults, and the kids, just something for fun. So it's something I also did with my kids, and so every year since they've been born, they've had a photo every Christmas Eve on Santa's lap. But this is the first year that my daughter had to work, and since she was working in retail, she couldn't be there to sit on Santa's lap, and I didn't want her to be left out at all, so I just wrapped up a little something and put it in a bag and wrote "To Kaylin from Santa," and I put on a Santa hat, and I said, "Here, let's take a selfie, and this is going to be your Santa photo for the year." So I do plan to do journaling about why this photo is this way and why she doesn't have a picture on Santa's lap. I have cut down that large floral piece. It's about 10 by 11 maybe. I don't exactly. A lot of times when I'm doing my layouts, I don't measure exactly. I just kind of estimate where, because I kind of just guess. I know how big I want it to be, and sometimes I will cut it down a little more, but so I just cut it down. So I'm sorry if you like exact sizes. Sometimes I can tell you that, sometimes I can't. But what you can see I'm working on here is I wanted some green. I wanted to bring in more of that green, and I didn't have much green that looked really good left in the collection, so I had that plaid piece of paper, and I'm going to take those two pieces and I'm going to mount them behind my photo. And I know that the patterns don't line up at all, but by the time the layout is done in the end and all the clusters are there and the title's on, you're not going to notice that they don't match up at all. So it turns out it works out really well, and I'm really glad that I used it. I'm going to go ahead and start inking all my edges. Again, I use black close to my heart ink. It's just the ink that I started out when I first started stamping. I believe my very first ink pad was probably a black close to my heart ink. I used to never scrapbook or stamp until I met my friend Terry, who sells close to my heart. And so after that, I was hooked and drawn in. And now, of course, I can't do a layout without inking the edges. And I love the fact that so many of you still ink your edges also. I have not really seen a whole lot of people do that, or at least a lot of process videos I feel like that I watch, they don't do that. Some do, some don't. But I was happy to hear that I'm not the only one, because I really like the way it looks. So thanks for everybody who left me a comment telling me I'm not alone anymore. So I'm going to take this strip of pattern paper, and this was just on the border strip sheet, and it's just gray with snowflakes. And I cut a little banner piece at the end, and when I cut a banner piece, I most of the time just take the paper and gently fold it in half. I don't fold it all the way, but enough just to cut a little triangle. And a lot of times it's not a perfect banner shape, but that doesn't really bother me at all. It looks cute, and nobody is going to look at your layout and say, "Oh my gosh, that banner isn't straight." And if they are, then who cares? Whatever, let them think that. They're not the ones that worked their hard time on that page. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and mount my photo again, and I don't usually mount my photo so many times, but I really like the way it looks, so I'm glad that I did it with this layout. And I wanted to bring more of the red in, because after I put it on the green, I felt like it was getting just a little bit more lost. And I am trying to use up a lot of this collection, because I know that I'm starting to use up all the elements that I really like. After this video, or after, I think there must be one more layout. I thought this was the last layout, but I must have one more layout that I use with this collection. And after that, I'm going to show you what I do. My new plan is to do with all my scraps from now in the future, and I'm very excited about it. So watch for that coming up. I wanted to use this delivery schedule 3x4 card because I thought it was kind of cute because I'm kind of delivering her the package. But when I put that wood grain down, it was really pretty and I felt like it stood out just a little bit more. So I'm going to use that one as my journaling card instead. And then also on the border strip was these little tag pieces. So I cut out that special delivery, which that brings in that whole delivery, word in there. And I really liked the way it looked. So what I'm going to do is, if you can see on that piece that I'm cutting right now, there was just a tiny border that had somewhat of a tag shape. So I'm just cutting gently along that border so that you can still see the white border, but I'm cutting out that tag shape, and I feel like it really just adds a little bit something to that piece. I'm also going to do that with another square sticker here in a little while. So when I'm working on my clusters, I just go ahead, and if something looks good, I will go ahead and just glue it down. I don't waste a lot of time. Sometimes I will pull things back up, sometimes I don't, but I like to go ahead and get it done. There was this chipboard piece that I just put there next to the photo and in that little cluster that said Santa is coming, and I thought that was kind of cute. More of these chipboard pieces were banner stickers, and if you've been following me a while, you know that I struggle with the banners. I can't get banner stickers to work or look good very much at all, so I thought for sure I could make a cluster up here using some of these banner stickers, but it's not going to work out. There was also this brad, and I love Echo Park's brads. I love how they're not all the same type of brad. They really add in different elements on their brads, and I love how some of them come with a die cut piece on them. I just really enjoy. The only ones I don't care for as much are kind of like you can see on that package there, those tall like pearlized ones. They are so tall. I feel like they're almost a little too tall, and I have actually tried, and I tried for a really long time to get one of those pearls off, because I wouldn't mind the pearl so much if it wasn't on the brad, but the brad part makes it stick up so much. But I did eventually get the pearl off. It wasn't with this collection. It was about a year or so ago, but it was not worth the effort. So I just passed them on to somebody else who I knew would love them. So here's that other sticker that I was talking about, that I followed the little border that was on it and cut it into a ticket shape. And a little hint for you, if you did not know this, if you have or are trying to make a ticket shape and you want the corners to be rounded, or they are rounded, they weren't rounded on the green die cut piece, but they were rounded on that sticker that I just cut. And so if you take just a circle punch and do the corners with your little circle punch, then it will help you get that round shape, so you don't have to try to cut along that. So that's just a little trick for you if you didn't know that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this piece that came with the brad, and it's just it looks like a little gift tag, and I kind of liked that element since she is getting a gift from Santa, and it came on the brad sheet. I can't remember if I said that or not. So I stuck it down here, and then I'm going to put a brad into that where it was before, and on the bottom of that little tag, it says to and from, and later on I'm going to write to Kaylin from Santa. And up in the left-hand side, I have started my cluster up there, and this layout is going to be more of a diagonal type of layout. Instead of having 3 clusters around the page, my clusters are going to go from the top right, or top left to the bottom right. So I started my cluster up here with that delivered. Again, I liked the whole delivery aspect to it. And I'm going to play around here with a couple of the brads and that ticket piece that I had cut. This brad was a little off center on the circle piece that it came on, and it was bothering me, so I just had to fiddle with it a little bit to get it more centered. And going to ink the edges of, again, a lot of my ephemera pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 elements up in this cluster. I'm going to put the brad down, and I'm going to use a glue dot since it's large enough I don't have to push the brad through the paper because you can't see it behind that sticker. And then in my clusters, I always like to add some elements up popped up on foam tape. So I put some foam tape behind that square sticker, and I'm sorry I can't remember what it says and I can't see on the little screen that I have here. Now I'm just going to play around with a lot of the leftover elements. There's quite a few things left that when I was making the layout, I was thinking I wouldn't be able to use, because like that Christmas delivery truck that's up in the top of the screen, that's not an element I would normally use. However, I will, in the video coming up when I tell you what I'm going to do with my scraps, I will tell you what my plan is. So then there was this border sticker, and I really liked it, and I felt like the layout did need more red, so I decided to go ahead and see what it looked like under this strip, and I really liked it. So I decided to go ahead and just tuck it behind the other elements and make it look like it was there before I started putting anything down. And I really like, and again, I cut a little banner edge at the end of that one, and I like how that looked. Sorry, I had to take just a little break to get some drink of coffee so my voice wouldn't start sounding more and more like a frog. What you can see me working on here is the space between that cluster and the photo, and I also knew that that plaid still was very obvious up there that it was off, and so I was trying to find something that would fill that space. But then I remembered I still needed to add my title, and these are thickers. I believe these are thickers. I can't imagine they're not, because they're chipboard. So I decided to go ahead with these ones, and in the video it doesn't look as obvious as it does in real person. In real person, they stand out a little bit more. They are slightly hidden, but not as much as it seems like they are in the video. And you can probably tell there is a a photo at the very end of the video where you could probably see it a little better. And so my title is going to be Santa Photo. I'm happy to be finally using up some of my alphabet. So if you have been watching my videos for a while, you know my goal for last year is to use up my alphabet stickers and not buy any. And I have decided, after moving my room, I realized I still have plenty of alphabet stickers, so I do not plan to buy any more alphabet stickers this year either. And with my love of thickers, being able to say no to thickers, new thickers, oh, there were so many pretty ones released this year, but I'm not going to do it. I have too many that I need to get used up. Now my title is done, so I'm just going to look around at the sticker sheets and the ephemera pieces that I have left over and just see if there's anything else left that I can add to this layout. There was this black banner sticker, and when I put it up underneath kind of in this area, I felt like it really helped add something to that area. So I went ahead and stuck that down. There is a little bit of space between the banner sticker and the circle sticker and the title, and some people would call that trapped space, but to be honest, it doesn't bother me at all. I feel like if it looks good to you, then go for it and do what makes you happy, and I like the way it looks, so I'm leaving it that way. And now I am taking the brads, and I wanted to add a few more brads around the layout. Like I said, I was really loving these brads. I love Echo Park brads, and I wanted to get quite a few of them used up because I was not sure if I would have any more layouts to do with this collection. Like I said, I do add one more. I believe I must add one more or do one more layout because I know I use the wreath stickers and I was excited to get them used. So, but to be honest, this was only like 2 weeks ago, but I do not remember at all what that layout is. I used to watch process videos and wonder how they could not remember what they did on a layout, because they would say, sorry, I don't remember what I did next. And I used to think, how do you not remember? You made the layout. But now that I do these videos, it is a lot more difficult to remember, and especially doing more layouts to make them so that you have enough to post online and everything like that. You do more, so it's even harder to remember. So I guess it will be a surprise for the both of us what my next layout is. All right, and now I am going to add a few enamel dots around. That is one thing that I didn't use so far very much with this collection. I think it's because I had all the pretty brads, was the enamel dots. Usually I use those up like crazy, but I have quite a few of those left over. Now I'm going to take my roller date stamp, which I use on almost every layout, and I'm going to add the date. Whoever sees this, if you're in my family, you probably realize it's a Christmas Eve photo, since you know that we do that on Christmas Eve, but I decided to add the date anyway, and that way the year would be on there. So I put it in that little area between the word delivered and the title, just to fill in that area a little bit. And that is my layout. I hope you enjoyed this process video. I hope to see you next time. And there you can see that the title does stand out just a little bit more in different light and not on the camera. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.